Hey, my name's Michael. I'm from Glasgow. I'm 40 something years old. I grew up in Glasgow in the 1970s and 80s. Grew up in the south sides. We did a lot of sort of playing around outside all the time, you know, and we'd be, you know, lived in a tenement. We'd be sort of spend a lot of our time just like playing out in the back greens, as they say, out in the back lanes, climbing up walls, jumping off things, out all day in those long glorious summers they had back then. I remember being in primary school, you know, being like, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, something like that, and talking about, what would you do if they dropped the bomb? Would you want to live? And talking about radiation poisoning and things, you know, whether that would be best because you could have a little bit longer, or whether it'd be best just to get wiped out in a winter. I mean, that age and talking about that, thinking back, that's pretty crazy. Where we live, Glasgow, is 25 miles away from Faslane, the naval base up there. You know, right there, right next door, is this big place with these submarines, and you can see the submarines on the lochs and things. You can actually see them and know that they've got these big nuclear bombs in them, and they are going to be a target. I remember being really young, my folks used to take us up to the Highlands and stuff. I remember being up in this Highland glen, marching through the glen, and it's all great, beautiful countryside and things, and then seeing these fighter planes come over, and you see them before you hear them, but then when you hear them it's this horrible screeching sound. And I distinctly remember being a young kid and seeing one and thinking it was like a nuclear missile, it wasn't a plane, and just like panicking, thinking that's going to hit somewhere. I mean, that must have been, you know, under 10 years old when this happened, and absolute fear. One minute I'm having a nice day out in the countryside in Scotland, and the next minute I think, oh shit, it's going to end, you know, it's coming. Horrible. You know, people that quite often just accept, you know, that's just the way things are. But, and I do remember there was a lot of stuff happening back then, of like big marches for CND and things like that. I think people are talking about this a lot more now, in the lead up to the referendum and independence in Scotland, talking about it a lot more than they have in the last few years, of whether it's just morally something that people in Scotland want to have, weapons of mass destruction like that. Also the amount of money that's spent on it, when you get times when, you know, times of austerity, when services have been cut, and it's, you know, spending billions on having a weapon there, for what? You know, would you use it, or is it just something that's there to say, you know, this country, the United Kingdom at the moment, is, you know, a big player politically, Security Council and all that kind of thing, having nuclear weapons. If you, you know, if you're going to use it, you'd be completely immoral in using it. So, you know, what's the point of having it and spending all these millions on it? And it looks like the only option, if you want to get rid of nuclear weapons in Scotland, the only option to get rid of them is to vote for independence. I mean, unless something happens in the next few months that will make people more afraid, because it seems that the arguments against Scotland being independent is all about fear. So something might get pulled out about that, some cynical way of making people in Scotland feel even more fear than they are already. Society seems to be kept under control using tactics of fear. In the past it was the fear of the Soviet Union, so we needed these nuclear weapons, and now it's fear of, you know, fear of terror, whatever that is. You know, we need weapons of mass destruction to keep us safe from terror.